Greetings and welcome to the Heal and Restore podcast with your hosts,
What?
Randy and Cathy Boyd. All right, I got to start over. I know. We've switched roles today. He doesn't quite know what to say. So,
I'm not real. I mean, it's like,
this is weird. All right, let me start over.
okay, start over.
Okay, welcome to the Heal. Okay, yeah, look at me. Okay, welcome to the Heal and Restored podcast with your host, Randy and Cathy Boyd. Hi, honey.
But you see, the thing of it is, I get to say the hostess with the mostest.
I know.
My beautiful bride, Cathy.
That's the beauty in this. That we're two different people looking at things from two different perspectives, and
Well, you don't
I
see
just get
yourself
to
as
welcome
beautiful?
you.
Yeah, well, you don't get to think you're beautiful.
I do, but I'm not going to say I'm beautiful, and you're beautiful host.
You can say you're handsome host, Randy. I mean,
that is true. I do have a handsome host.
Yeah,
I do have a handsome host. You know, we're happy you're here. We're dedicated to helping couples, individuals strengthen their relationship through healing, growth, and honest conversation, because that's what we do here. We love to dive into topics like communication, forgiveness, intimacy, family, and emotional connection.
Yeah.
Because healthy love starts with a healed heart. And that's something we focused on. So we're just going to invite you to tune in each week and take a step, the next step towards restoring what matters most.
Yes.
And that's your relationship, not only with yourself, but with a significant other, marriage, friends, family. It's just important to be healthy, a healthy and whole individual.
And just do it for a day at a time.
Yeah, that's
Don't worry about
absolutely
tomorrow. Just do it for today.
Yeah, no, that's good. So
we're so glad you're here in today's episode. We're talking about something that can truly change your life, and I know it's changed our lives immensely.
Absolutely.
And that's grace and forgiveness.
Yeah.
Whether you've been deeply hurt by someone or you're struggling to let go of guilt or resentment, this conversation is for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So what I've learned is forgiveness isn't always easy.
No, it's hard. Yeah. Very hard.
Especially when the pain runs deep.
Yes.
But it is possible.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely is possible. And grace, I love this. Grace is the bridge that helps us get there. So what exactly is grace? We wanted to make sure that we put this out there. So grace is unmerited favor, love, compassion, or divine assistance that's freely given by a higher power such as God. And it, regardless of whether or not it's earned. And I love that. So if God so freely gives us grace, who are we to not extend grace to others?
And I certainly didn't deserve the grace you gave me.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. But you extended it.
Yep. And we're going to talk about that a little bit further into this episode. But later, so basically, you know, who are we to not extend grace if God offers us grace so freely? I love that. So we're going to start out with what forgiveness really is and isn't, because there's a lot of misconceptions about that. So
a lot of confusion about what forgiveness is. I know it was for me and a lot of people that we talk with. Is, you know, what is it? So let's start by clearing something up.
Good. Yeah, let's do that.
Forgiveness is not forgetting.
Yeah.
Those words, forgive, forget, and move. You need to forgive, forget, and move on. We need to forgive. We need to move on, but we'll never forget. Yeah. So, and it's not pretending that something didn't happen.
Yep.
And it's not saying what happened was okay, because it's not. You were deeply hurt and deeply wounded by somebody, so it's not okay. Also, forgiveness is not approving or diminishing the abuse or sin. Okay, forgiveness is not enabling the abuse or the sin. Mm-hmm. Forgiveness is not denying a wrongdoing. Okay, they did it wrong to you. Forgiveness is not waiting. This is the key for an apology. Don't ever wait for an apology. Don't expect an apology. Okay, forgiveness is for you, not for them. Yeah, forgiveness is not forgetting. Right, we talked about that. Forgiveness is not ceasing to feel the pain. It's been 20 years I've been on this journey. For the most part, I'm good. Every now and then, the pain hits me hard, but I'm able to talk to Cathy and get over it very quickly. Okay,
work through it.
Forgiveness is not a one-time event. Sometimes you got to forgive every day. I'm going to just forgive you for today, and that's it, right? Forgiveness is not neglecting justice.
Yeah.
For instance, when I first went to therapy, the therapist says, I have to report your stepfather to the authorities. I says, do what you got to do. Mm-hmm. Okay? It doesn't mean that we have to, they get to avoid justice, right? Mm-hmm. Forgiveness is not trusting. That's key. We don't, trust is earned.
Yeah.
We just don't give trust.
Right.
It's earned.
Yeah,
okay?
that's good.
And the last one for right now is forgiveness does not mean reconciliation.
Yeah, no, there's a lot to that.
Reconciliation, forgiveness takes one, reconciliation takes two.
Yeah,
so
that's good.
Don't let those things hinder you from starting your forgiveness process.
Yeah, now we're going to share a little bit more about where this information comes from and where you can get your more details on this in a little bit. But, this is great because forgiveness, it's such a hard subject, but forgiveness is releasing the power that pain has over your life. And then grace is choosing to respond in love, even when someone doesn't deserve it,
Right.
But I'll share a little bit about my forgiveness process. And I in doing this and putting together this podcast and this episode, we've done things on forgiveness before, but for some reason this really stood out to me, is when I chose to forgive Randy for him having the affair, there was grace there. And I don't think I realized the grace. And I think the grace came to me because I knew that the man that I married was hidden into this dark, very dark place. Who he was in those last 5 years of his disease and his addiction was not the same man I married. So grace comes from a place of love. And so for me, I started with grace because grace led to forgiveness. And so knowing that he was not the same person I married, that's where my grace came from.
Right.
And then that grace led to a place of forgiveness.
But you knew that person was still inside.
I did. I knew he was still inside, but I just had to get to a place where I allowed the grace to lead the forgiveness.
And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, that you knew that person was still in there because you still saw glimpses now and then of that person.
You weren't completely gone, but the darkness that I was feeling made it very heavy.
Yes, absolutely.
But like I said, I love the fact that grace leads to forgiveness. Absolutely. And that's what I can honestly say led me to forgiveness.
So there's a quote I love.
Yeah, I love this.
To forgive is to set a prisoner free and discover that the prisoner was you. Okay? And that's what we're talking about today, freedom.
Yeah.
I heard somebody, a famous rock star, in a meeting one day say this: I've never myself been in a physical prison, but I have been trapped in this emotional prison for years. And man, does that hit home.
Right.
Because you holding on to unforgiveness keeps you locked inside a dark cell that only you hold the key to.
Yeah, that's so true.
Okay?
Yeah.
So just give that some thought. It's not easy by any means.
No, not at all. Not at all.
So how do we apply grace in relationships?
I love this, yeah. So grace is, like I mentioned earlier, it's one of the most powerful tools in any relationship, whether it's a marriage, family members, friendships. It's choosing to believe the best about someone even when they mess up. Right. And I can honestly say I made a choice to believe that Randy was a better person than where he was in those last 5 years prior to his recovery journey starting. So I made that choice. It was a choice, definitely.
But here's a critical thing I want to point out, Cathy, in that, is that you did forgive me. You showed me grace. However, I had to start doing the work to change.
No, definitely.
That's the difference.
It wasn't like grace, mess up, grace, mess up, grace. It was action on your part, definitely.
And I had to do it. It was hard work, but I was committed to our relationship.
Yeah, no, that's so
and
true.
It's like, no, whatever I got to do. That's what I said. Whatever I got to do, I'm going to make sure I do. It's even the hardest things I did.
Yeah, that's good.
So, and it's also about not defining someone by their worst moment. I.e., again, we can reflect on our own relationship, right?
Yeah, definitely. Okay?
I mean, Cathy's got bad moments too, but I love her no matter what.
Yeah.
Okay? So we got to think about that. We're not looking at their worst moment. Okay.
Right.
How often do we hold people to a version of them that no longer exists?
That's really good.
I mean, Cathy had that choice. Right? Am I going to hold on to the bad Randy or the good Randy? Right. Yeah. But keep in mind, this is important. 1 Corinthians 4 through 8.
13, 4 through 8.
I'm sorry, 13, 4 through 8 is all about love. If you want to know what love is, read 1 Corinthians 13, 4 through 8. But let's go right to verse 5. And it says, keeps no record of wrongs.
Yeah.
Love keeps no records of wrong.
That's so good.
That's where grace is applied to love.
Yeah, I love that.
I mean, this is all biblical stuff, and it's hard, but it's a tall order.
It's not impossible.
But either God is everything or God is nothing. Either the Bible is the Word of God or it's not.
Right, that's true.
Right?
That's really true. So what grace says is, I see your flaws, and I still choose to love you despite your flaws, and I love that. And I think it's like you say, it's hard to see and hard to apply, but if you're really honest with yourself, we all have flaws.
Yeah.
And so just because I have flaws doesn't mean I don't like myself or love myself. I make a choice to love me or to love you or to love anybody despite their flaws.
You know, you said something, to love me, right? To love yourself. And a lot of times that takes grace right there.
Yeah, that's true.
We have to give ourselves grace.
Yeah.
That we're imperfect human beings, right?
Yeah.
But we do the best we can. And really do the best we can. Not, no, we do the best we can on a daily basis.
Right.
So it doesn't mean that we ignore boundaries.
No,
not at all. I mean, we set boundaries for a reason. But grace and truth must walk hand in hand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You can extend grace and have healthy boundaries. Yeah, I got grace, brother, but if you're going to keep abusing me in this way, then I'm sorry, I can't be part of your life.
Right.
I'm extending grace because I love you. And I understand you're not perfect, I'm not perfect, but I'm also not going to allow this behavior to continue between the two of us.
Yeah, no, that's true. Right. That's really good.
All right, so next let's talk about why forgiveness is so hard.
Yeah. Yeah, so let's be real. Sometimes holding on to the pain feels like protection. It's like I think of it as like a warm blanket. It's keeping me safe from the elements of the cold and wind. But is it really? Is it really?
Oh, it gets really cold.
Yeah.
It gets really cold and windy, right? So, we tell ourselves, if I let it go, they get away with it. But in truth, we're the ones stuck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We're the ones that are staying stuck the more we hold on to it.
Yeah.
They're not. Matter of fact, we're holding on to unforgiveness that our perpetrators or enemies might not even know we're holding on to.
Right.
They might not even know you exist anymore.
Yeah.
All right. I mean,
it's like when you say we're stuck, using my analogy of a warm blanket, I picture myself being stuck under one of those weighted blankets, and that would be what it would feel like.
Yeah. All the weight of the world.
All the weight of the world. I'm carrying it, and so to me, that's what that reminds me of. But I will just say this: forgiveness doesn't always happen overnight.
No,
sometimes it can happen quickly, but for the majority of the time, it is a process, and sometimes it's a decision that you have to make over and over again. And there was something that was said. Oh, I know what it was. Forgiveness is difficult, but all you have to do is forgive for today.
That's it.
Just today. You don't have to forgive for 3 weeks from now. Just in this moment, let's forgive.
And so the process, sometimes it's a decision you have to make. Forgiveness doesn't always happen overnight. Times, right? There's different levels of forgiveness. Cathy and I, we have a disagreement, and we can forgive each other right away. I mean, because we love each other, and it's like, okay, well, no big deal. She didn't mean nothing about it. The deeper wounds, I might say it this way, the deeper wounds of any kind of abuse are extremely difficult to learn how to forgive.
Right.
So that's what we're talking about. It's a process, right?
No, absolutely.
But the cost of holding on to unforgiveness is extremely high, whether you realize it or not. It fills us with bitterness, stress, broken connection with people, and even, it's been proven, some horrific physical symptoms.
You experienced some of those yourself.
Right. So, as a matter of fact, look, it took me 40 years to get to that point to where I forgave my stepfather and my mother. And when I did, I never knew there was such a freedom to have. And when you talk about the physical symptoms, when I was younger, 16, 17 years old, and I had to move out. I moved out of the house for a while in my ex-wife's parents' house. I would lay there with severe, extremely severe stomach, like flu stomach conditions, right?
Yeah.
You couldn't figure out what it was. And then even when we were married, it happened then.
I think Garrett was like 8 months old.
Yeah.
And here we were 2 or 3 in the morning.
2 or 3 in the morning. Cathy had to take me to the hospital.
With an 8-month-old.
With an 8-month-old, and I have these excruciating stomach pains. Doctor said, we can't find nothing wrong with you. And what I know today, it was this unresolved childhood trauma inside of me that was just eating at my body.
Yeah.
And I haven't had those pains since.
No.
Recovery since.
You've had other pains, but not related to.
Yeah,
well, they might have been related to your physical trauma of beating your body up.
Yeah, well, yeah. So
not the emotional trauma.
That's why I say it's a process.
Yeah.
The process started with me, believe it or not, with Deborah and with Betty Ford, because they started validating all my feelings, right? Which made it extremely easy to start looking at things differently.
Yeah, opened your eyes.
It opened my eyes. They weren't condemning me. They weren't putting me down.
No.
They didn't say words like, you need to forgive, forget, and move on. Get over it. It happened 30 years ago. None of that.
No.
They allowed me to speak my truth and work through it.
Yeah, that's so good. So we're going to talk about this too. How do you forgive?
Yeah,
and
that's a good question.
You got
really
to a place where you were able to do that. But I think the important thing is it starts with truth. We have to first acknowledge the pain. We can't ignore the fact that pain is existing.
Right.
We can't sugarcoat it. We can't put a Band-Aid on it and pretend it's going to go away.
No.
We have to be honest with ourselves. And if we're in denial, it only avoids the truth. It just extends the pain out. So the other thing we have to do is to think of the pros and cons on forgiveness. What are those pros and cons in forgiveness?
And I want to touch on the denial and avoid the truth. Is that I was real good at that. I mean, I always knew I was abused, but hey, it's just who I am. You don't like it, too bad. Get over it, man. It's just who I am. But what happens is that eventually that attitude, usually in the mid-30s up to the 50s, all of a sudden it starts rearing its ugly head. And
catches up to you.
Catches up to you. And when it catches up to you, it becomes real that, no, you're not okay.
Yeah.
Okay?
That's so good. So I love that because you were putting a Band-Aid on it really during that time of your life.
Mowing the grass, right? Mowing the grass with drugs, alcohol, whatever else. Right? I mean that's what I call it. So, so the big thing is we have to learn and we have to realize that we do have a choice. Yeah. It's a choice. Are we going to make the choice to let go or to hold on? Yeah. We have to make that choice and we have to make it very definitively, right? Not because the person deserves it, but because you deserve peace. Yeah.
And that just brings calmness to me.
Here's the key to this. I must stress, you must have somebody that's going to walk with you on that journey, that's going to be patient with you, that's going to guide you, give you different direction, different perspectives, right? Yeah. And that's something that Cathy and I can both do at Healing Restore Counseling. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's certain, you just...
You have to have somebody that has gone before you to walk with you. Right. That's the easiest way to say that, I think.
And gone through you with somebody that's taking you through it like Christ would take you through it. Yeah. I think that's the best thing I can say.
Yeah, that's good. So, there's some different things that we have to also look at, and here's a simple way you can begin. I'm choosing to let go. You might say this. I'm choosing to let go even though the pain is real. I want freedom more than I want to stay angry, or more than I want to stay in the pain.
That's really good.
In that process of choosing, we have to remember to be empathetic with ourselves. And then we also have to understand our responsibility in the healing process. Right. We have a responsibility to that forgiveness. And so we have to understand that that's part of our healing journey as well. So I love that. It's just making a choice, even if the pain is real. Right. Because it's better to work through that pain than stay in that pain.
Exactly. I mean, like when I was working on mine, they validated my feelings, but not my behavior. Right? So it was like, Randy, that was a long time ago. You're an adult now. Mm-hmm. You need to make a different choice. Right. We're going to help you through that choice, right?
When we're stuck in that, we don't realize we even have choices.
We don't, right?
Because that's where having a mentor or a coach or somebody to walk with you opens the door to choices for you.
Generally, what happens along the path is people are just very derogatory towards you, negative towards you. So it's just like, why?
You kind of give up.
Yeah, you literally give up. So. Another tool that we use with clients.
I love this. Yeah, this is one of my favorite ones.
This is really important. Is journaling a letter to the person. Well, that sounds scary, doesn't it? Yeah. Well, even if you never sinned it.
That's the key. You don't
Okay?
have
You
to
don't
send it.
have to send it, right?
And in a lot of cases, we don't recommend that you do send it.
No,
to be honest with you.
No, in every case we don't.
Mm-hmm.
No, we don't want you to send it. Period, right?
Mm-hmm.
We just got to get it out.
Yeah.
Right. You
Yeah.
just put it on paper. I don't care what it says. I don't care about the language. You don't edit. You just let it flow until it all gets out. Don't carry it anymore.
Yeah,
and
that's
what
the
we
purpose of that.
we like to do with the clients is have them write the letter, and then they'll sit down with us, and they can read it to us, right? And then two choices. This is what my mentor had me do. We can burn it for them, tear it up, throw it in the trash, or you give them an envelope. You address it to heaven, and you put it in the mailbox and let it go. Yeah. So now the other thing that's really important is that now is the time to focus on the present. You're not being abused today. In fact, I was told
you're not being harmed today.
You're not being harmed
injured today. Yeah.
I was told, and it's true, I was abusing myself worse for a longer period of time, emotionally and spiritually, than my perpetrators ever did to me.
Yeah, that's really good.
That's powerful. So
that's
because
great.
the abuse stopped when I got out of the house at 18. Staying focused on the present, then we can allow peace to enter into your life and feel compassion towards yourself.
Yeah, that's so key.
You did nothing wrong. It's not your fault. You have to understand that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is the process, and it takes time, and this is what Cathy and I believe. You have to have somebody that's compassionate, understanding, and has been there and walked through it with you.
Right. No, that's absolutely true. Now we're gonna talk about forgiving yourself, because I think this is one of the keys that people do get kind of hung up on. And I'll be honest, I got hung up on it myself for a little bit, because sometimes the hardest person to forgive is me, is you.
I got some things to say about that.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
It'll be a minute, but we have some things to talk about. Yeah. So guilt and shame are heavy.
Yeah, they
are heavy.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, let's do this. What is guilt?
You're wrong.
You did something wrong.
Yeah,
you made a mistake.
Right.
Right. What is shame?
I am wrong.
Yeah, wrong. You shouldn't be here. You don't deserve to be there. So you almost got to. We can be guilty for doing something wrong, but a lot of times the shame comes. We did do nothing wrong. The shame comes from the perpetrators that are casting toxic behavior on top of us, right? But grace says you're not your worst mistake. You're not.
I like that. Yeah.
You're not your mistake. You can grow, okay, and you can be new. So no matter what you've gone through, first of all, we can't define ourselves today. We can't let our past define who we are today.
Right.
We can always grow. We can always change.
Right.
I didn't think I could.
Yeah.
I thought, I'm so far gone, I'll never change. But the reality is, you can change.
Yeah. Forgiveness opens the door to that change, I really think. And forgiveness of self, forgiveness of others, it just flows after that.
It flows after that, right?
So, one of the things that we've done too is we talk to our clients about this, because this is a kind of a heavy area. And we say that if God gives grace, who are we to withhold it from ourselves? But you've got something to say on that, I know. So,
like I said, we have something to talk about, Lucy, right? So we always hear this, I can't forgive myself. Okay, so one of the things I realize is this. We've asked God to forgive us. Correct?
Yeah.
And if you believe God has forgiven you, He forgives us as far as the east from the west, north is from the south. Correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Then who are you to say, I can't forgive myself? Are you better than God? Right? Are you better than God? God, the Most High has already forgiven you.
Right.
So, then the legitimate question becomes this. What are you holding on to so tightly that you won't let go of? It's not that you can't forgive yourself. God's already forgiven you.
Right.
The ultimate. It's like you're holding on to something, some kind of shame, some kind of wrongdoing that you don't want to let go of, or you don't know how to let go of.
Right.
Okay. So I was having a conversation with one of our clients about this whole scenario. And he goes, this just came to me right now. Have you ever asked God, this is important, to forgive you, or give ourselves, right? Have you ever asked God to forgive yourself for the way that you treated yourself? for the way you abused your body, for the way you abused your mind, your emotional, your spiritual mind. Have you ever asked God to forgive you for that?
Yeah.
Directly. And it's like, man, that is powerful, because when you think about it, we are the temple of God. So what are we doing? What have we done to our own body?
What have we fed our mind?
What have we
fed our body?
Exactly.
Yeah. So
right?
good.
So those are some things to think about. What are you holding on to so tight? You've been forgiven by God, the Most High.
Right.
You don't have. You're not better than Him.
That's heavy.
Okay?
That's heavy.
So
that's good.
Just some food for thought.
Yeah.
And and be very diligent about asking God to forgive you for the way you abused your own body, your own mind, your own spirit.
Yeah, well, that's good.
So we're going to end, as we always do, with a word of encouragement.
Yeah.
If you're listening and thinking, I just can't do it, you're not alone. I didn't think I could. No way was I ever going to forgive, right?
Yeah.
But don't rush the process.
Yeah, yeah. You know, we always say we want to start small. We want to choose to extend grace just in one area.
Yeah.
You don't have to look at the big heavy picture. Just pick one area and then say those words out loud. Invite God into the process if that's part of your journey.
Yeah.
You know, so start small, say the words out loud, extend the grace just in one small space.
Right.
It doesn't have to be the big picture.
No. It's like when I started making my amends, I started with a small one. I think I started with Kathy because she
I was the easy one?
Yeah, you were the easy one.
Okay.
Because
compared to others?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so, that's good.
Okay. Listen to this very carefully. Okay. I want you to understand this. Don't let anybody tell you anything different.
Yeah.
Forgiveness is not weakness.
Right.
Forgiveness is not weakness. In fact, it's one of the greatest acts of strength, courage, and love a person can give.
Yeah, to self and to others.
And to self and to others.
Yeah,
forgiveness isn't weakness.
Yeah, this is beautiful. So as we close out, you know, this is a hard subject. Grace is beautiful. Forgiveness feels hard. Sometimes grace is hard. But, you know, we hope that this episode gave you some hope, gave you some clarity. And if you're working through forgiveness, you don't have to do it alone. We've mentioned that before. Here at Heal and Restore Counseling, we can help you. You know, we've been through all of this in our own lives, and we know what it takes to get to a place of healing and peace. Mm-hmm. One of the things that we learned in recovery is you can't transmit something you don't have.
Right.
And so we honestly feel that God has equipped us through our own growth,
right,
our own journey, to walk alongside others. And so that is why we offer at Heal and Restore Counseling a 1 hour, no cost, freebie-deebie, I don't know how to say it, discovery session for you. For as a couple, as an individual, it doesn't really matter. And what we do is we just sit down and talk. We find out who you are, what are your needs, where are your struggles. We'll share a little bit about us. We want to make sure that we're the right fit, that we can connect with you and that we can help you. All it takes is, it's no cost to you, but it's 1 hour of your time.
Right.
That's all it is. So you don't have to do this alone.
No. And you know, that phrase we use, you cannot transmit something you do not have. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to, I guess, maybe rant a little bit.
Why are you going to rant?
It's good. No, it's good, because not only have Kathy and I walked through a lot of hell, addiction, trauma, our marriage problems, business problems. A lot of people a lot of people can transmit all the issues and the problems.
Yeah, that's true.
But can they truly transmit the healing process? Yeah. Not only can they transmit it, can they reflect it?
Yeah.
I'm going to toot our horn. That's where we come from. Yeah. You've got.
We're not perfect.
Yeah, what it was like, what happened, and what it's like now.
Mm-hmm. That's true recovery.
And that's what recovery is, and that's how we help people.
Yeah, that's so good.
Right? So, you can also email us at healandrestorecounseling@gmail.com for a free copy of our Grace and Forgiveness Reflection Workshop.
Worksheet.
Workshop.
We're not doing a workshop yet.
Eventually
we will one day.
Worksheet, okay? Forgiveness Reflection Worksheet. Right? In addition, to learn more about forgiveness, get your copy of my book, Healing the Wounded Child Within,
Yeah.
and explore chapter 12, where I dedicated the entire chapter on forgiveness, what it is, what it's not, what I went through, steps to take, so on and so forth,
Yeah.
right? And you can get that book, right, on Amazon.
Amazon,
and it's available in paperback, Kindle, and Audible.
Audible. Yeah, no, that's great. So, and if this episode helped you, we want to be able to ask you to share it with someone who might be struggling with letting go of forgiveness, with grace, any of those things, or anything we've ever talked about. Please share this episode with somebody. In fact, I'll challenge you to send it to 3 people today. If you're listening to this right now, if you have 3 people in your heart, say, hey, I think this would be a great episode for you to listen to. Pass it along, share it with them, because the more people we can reach, the more people we can help.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Right. So, thanks for listening with us. Thanks for being with us today and listening. Right. And remember, healing is possible, one choice at a time, and just one day at a time.
Yeah,
just don't look at the long picture.
Yeah.
Look at just for today.
Stay in the moment.
Stay in the moment and make a good choice for today.
Yeah, that's really good. Love it. Thanks,
love
Shane.
it?
I love it.
Oh, of course. Good one, huh?
Yeah.
Is that it? You all done?
Phew.
Is that enough?
That's plenty.
All right. So remember this, everybody. That nobody loves you today. Nobody says they love you today. Randy does.
Cathy does.
More importantly, God does. Be blessed, everybody. Have a fabulous week.
Have a great day.